From Ridicule to Respect: Scientists and Theories That Overcame Doubt by Jim Whiting. Introduction. To many people, a theory is just a guess or a hunch. To scientists, the word theory means something else. A scientific theory is a widely accepted statement that explains natural phenomena and predicts what may happen in the future. Science moves forward with the discovery of new evidence, which continually leads to new theories. This has happened throughout history. However, there are usually some people who oppose new theories. Frequently, the opposition comes from scientists who have made their reputations by building evidence for older, existing theories. Many scientists do not want to admit that they are wrong, and a new theory is correct. Sometimes people doubt a new theory due to a disrespect for the scientist who created the theory. Older scientists may feel that younger scientists have not yet earned the right to make new claims. Also, until recently, men, nearly all of them Europeans or Americans, have controlled science. It is only in the past few decades that women and people from other cultures have had the opportunity to make major contributions to science. Yet many of them have still run into resistance. People who develop new theories are often criticized and ridiculed. If a scientist has strong evidence for a theory, it is important for that scientist to remain confident that the theory is correct. As time passes and people gather new evidence, strong theories frequently become less controversial and more widely accepted. This book tells of several scientists and scientific theories that were mocked at first, and then gradually gained respect for creating new understandings about the world. Chapter 1. Galileo Galilei. In late July 1609, Galileo Galilei, known as Galileo, heard some interesting news. By this time, Galileo was a professor at the University of Padua in what is now Italy. He was already well known for his scientific work and inventions. Galileo heard about a new device called a spyglass, or as we would call it now, a telescope. When a person looked through this device, distant objects seemed to be much closer. The telescope was apparently on its way to Italy. Because of his background in science, Galileo understood how the telescope would work. Besides seeing its scientific value, he immediately realized its military value, especially at sea. If sailors could see enemy ships a long way off, they would have plenty of time to decide whether to attack or to sail away. Telescopes would be especially valuable to the Italian city of Venice. Venice was a center for ocean trade, so it depended on control of the seas to remain important. Galileo learned next that a Dutchman was already in Venice trying to sell a telescope. Frantically, he worked to make a telescope of his own before the Venetians chose to buy the Dutchman's version. Despite his lack of experience making these devices, Galileo built a telescope within 24 hours. Remarkably, it was better than the Dutchman's or any existing telescope at the time. The Venetians rewarded Galileo for his efforts and bought his telescope. Galileo started using his improved telescopes for his own research and would soon begin making some of the most important discoveries in the history of science. This chapter will discuss some of Galileo's findings and the reactions to them. First, however, it is important to learn more about this great scholar's life and the background that led Galileo to challenge existing theories. Galileo was born on February 15, 1564, in the town of Pisa, Italy. His father, a famous musician, wanted Galileo to become a doctor when he grew up. So in 1581, Galileo entered the University of Pisa and began his medical studies. Yet he found he was much more interested in mathematics. He also enjoyed figuring out how things worked and how to build them. He left the University of Pisa to study science, and in 1589 the university hired him to teach mathematics. Then he left again in 1592 to take a similar position at the University of Padua, where he remained for 18 years. During this time, Galileo was constantly seeking ways of making more money, so he began inventing things he hoped he could sell for added income. In addition to the improved version of a telescope,
Sample complete. Ready to continue?